Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's weekly market update for the week of September 26, 2016. Now, in the last week, we have seen demand figures shift to one of the lowest figures they've been in the last 2 years, meaning it's a great time for buyers to be looking to buy, and for sellers it means to be on point with their selling and marketing strategies. But is all of that about to change? We'll talk about that right next. So here we are, we're almost at the end of the month of September, which means we can start analyzing the data and seeing where the trends are going. So let's jump right into it. Since the beginning of September, the last 25 days, we've seen 489 condos list on the west side of Vancouver, with 250 of those condos sell. Now, if we look at our sales as a percentage of the listings, in other words, our absorption, or in other words, our demand, what we see is that we're at 51% demand right now. What I thought we'd do this week is look at that figure within the context of the last 2 years and see what's happened in that time period that's caused current activities. And as a quick reminder, anything under 13% demand, that's considered a buyer's market. 14 to 19%, that's considered a balanced market, and anything above is considered a seller's market. Currently 51%, it is one of the valleys that we've had in the last 2 years of data. The previous valley was January 2016 at 51%, so that's an equal amount of demand, and prior to that was 37% in January of 2015. So it's very normal to see valleys around December and January in terms of demand and absorption, just because that's a time of year where people are usually very occupied with the holidays, with vacation from school, with family, not so much a time when people are buying and selling. So traditionally in Vancouver, we do have valleys around those holiday seasons. But it's not so normal to see a valley around the spring and fall markets, which traditionally tend to be the busiest times of the year. So that's why there's a lot of conversation right now about what's happening in the market. Are we moving towards a balanced market? Are we moving towards possibly even buyer's market? One thing I'll say is that during this entire 2-year duration, we have been in a seller's market. We are in the red zone still. We haven't been in a buyer's market for quite a long time. However, because there's lower demand than there has been in some of the earlier months this year and last year, it means that buyers will just have less competition in the marketplace. And for sellers, it means they have to be really on point when it comes to their marketing, selling, and pricing strategies, just to ensure that they capture all of the buyers that they can to get the highest possible price. If we look at what happened more recently, we've had obviously policy changes come into effect, things like the 15% foreign buyers tax, things like an additional 1% property transfer tax on luxury purchases, anything over $2 million. That happened earlier in the year. And now we've got the looming Vancouver vacancy tax coming in as well. So in my opinion, and in a lot of professional opinions, what we're seeing is that the market is having a short-term reaction to recent changes. And what buyers and sellers are saying is, let's hold off and see what's going to happen the next little while here because of all of these changes. However, it's not sustainable for us to see a long-term reduction just based on people waiting, because eventually what's going to happen is people will jump right back into the market when they feel confident and comfortable. So that's just what we're seeing right now. It's just one opinion. If we look at the last week of activity, we're seeing that there's starting to be a bit of an increasing trend in demand compared to week over week from last week. For example, on the map we see across the Metro Vancouver region, we've got the red zones showing increases over the last week, and the beige zones showing no changes. So is that a sign of a rebound? Are we seeing demand starting to pick up? It's too early to tell, but it does mean that right now is an important time to be studying the market, understand what's happening. So if you have any questions about anything I've discussed today, if you think of buying or selling, or you're just curious to know, do feel free to reach out to me. You can do so by calling or texting the number right below. And of course, if you like these videos, I do post every Tuesday. So make sure you like this page and you'll be updated all the time. I look forward to seeing you here this time next week. Bye-bye.